But there was no stopping Mike TV now. The crazy boy rushed on, and when he reached the enormous camera, he jumped straight for the switch, scattering Oompa Loompas right and left as he went. "See you later, alligator," he shouted and pulled down the switch. As he did so, he leaped out into the full glare of the mighty lens. There was a blinding flash. There was a silence. Then Mrs. TV ran forward, but she stopped dead in the middle of the room. And as she stood there, she stood staring at the place where her son had been, and her great red mouth opened wide, and she screamed, "He's gone! He's gone! Great heavens, he is gone!" shouted Mrs. TV. Mr. Wonka hurried forward and placed his hand gently on Mrs. TV's shoulder. "We shall have to hope for the best," he said. "We must pray that your little boy will come out unharmed." At the other end, Mike screamed, On the other end, "Mike!" screamed Mrs. TV, clasping her head into her hands. "Where are you?" Yeah, and I'll tell you where he is," said Mrs. TV. "He's wheezing around you above our heads in a million pieces." "Don't talk about it," wailed Mrs. TV. "We must watch the television set, Mr. Wonka. He may come through in any moment." Mr. and Mrs. TV, and Grandpa Joe, and little Charlie and Wonka and Mr. Wonka all gathered around the television, stared tensely at the screen. The screen was quite blank. He's taking a heck of a long time to come across," said Mrs. TV, wiping her eyebrow. Oh dear," said Mr. Wonka. "I do not hope that no part of him gets left behind." "What on earth do you mean?" asked Mr. TV sharply. "I do not wish to alarm you, Mr. Wonka," said Mr. Wonka, "but it does sometimes happen that only about half of the little pieces find their way into the back of the television set. It happened last week. I don't know why, but the result was that only half of a bar of chocolate came through." Mrs. TV let out a scream of horror. "You mean only a half of Mike is coming back to us," she cried.